Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life at Life View. I am your host, Dr. Veronica Garcia, and today I'm joined by a really interesting pair of the university, Mr. Andrew and Daniel Heath. Welcome guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
I'm so excited that I get the opportunity of shining a light into your experience, your stories, because you both are very dear to my heart already, but also I've seen your growth over the past few quarters, and I'm really excited for people to know about it. So let's start at your siblings. Tell us the world a little bit more about why chiropractic.
So we grew up in a chiropractic family. So both of our parents are chiropractors. They met in the fountainhead of chiropractic in Palmer, Davenport. And so all of our lives we experienced like the power of chiropractic, right? So we would shadow our dad. He would come back at dinner and tell us all these like thousands of stories about the wonder of chiropractic, right? He's like, oh, these patients came in. It was like their last stop, right? They've been to these different specialties, providers, and nothing was helping. So they came in here, and then within weeks, sometimes like they'd be walking out the door or running. You know, they had their life back.
Yeah.
And we were able to see how much they didn't just add to their lifespan, but also their health span.
Yeah.
And that was really amazing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up as chiro kids, we had this situation where it felt like every dinner or breakfast felt kind of like a DE talk or like an assembly or something along those lines. We were a captive audience, but we also had that opportunity to just kind of really grow up and bask in the chiropractic philosophy and understand it as our primary system. And I think that was something that, you said why chiropractic, and that the real answer to that is we really felt like it was the best way. It wasn't the only way, but it was kind of the high road, and it was kind of that feeling of let's go ahead and do the thing that makes the most sense. And that is really, anytime I've had any doubt, I just go back to that feeling and remind myself of why I've actually chosen this profession in the first place. And I mean that sincerely. That has been the thing that I come back to every single time is there isn't anything else to go to, not truly. So, and also, like Andrew said, this is a family endeavor. We have both of our parents are chiropractors. Our grandfather is a chiropractor, and our aunt, as well as our great-great-grandfather, were all chiropractors. So it's been in the family for a while.
That's a beautiful experience that I cannot relate to whatsoever, but I hope that my future children can in that sense, because living or growing up in a household that we didn't even know what chiropractic was a word, and to see that you are both very well educated gentlemen, very kind, and you show up in the way that you show up to your patients, and we see it in clinic all the time. It is a different way, right? And I can see that you're both choosing to do this from day one, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So thank you for going for it and having it to be the only way. So tell me a little bit about why Life University then? Because parents are not from here.
So that's another great point, right? So our whole lives, our parents took us around to, like, since we were babies, would take us to seminars and conferences, and we grew up knowing a lot of docs, hundreds of different docs, and they kind of took us under their wings, and they would talk to us. They're like, oh, where do you think we're going to go? So then we always had almost an in, right? Because they had interns coming in, they had peak students, they had preceptorship students, and consistently they were like, you need to go to Life University. Yeah. They're like, the other schools are starting to lose it a little bit, but Life still has the vitality and the life within it still, right? And they're like, you really need to go to Life. And from what our parents said, we came toward this school 10 years ago now, 10, 11 years ago. And we did the leadership program. We loved it. And something that always stood out to me is when we would go to these seminars, the students always had more light in their eyes, and they seemed a little more with it, and a little more vitalistic, which was really nice to see. And then our parents always said, they're like, that's what Palmer was when they went to school. So it was almost like they went to what used to be like Life, and now Life is leading chiropractic.
Right. And I would say, to that point, it's the philosophy. It is the thing that makes the school and makes the profession what it is. We're not just pain doctors. We're not just musculoskeletal. We want to see the full expression of vitality within each patient. And because life leans so heavily into that as a university, that was kind of the easy choice. Again, it was that thing of, well, we could go other places, but this is the one that has, this is where it's at. You know, this is the current epicenter of chiropractic. And so we wanted to be where the action was, and that's where this is right here. So that's, I think, a big constant discussion between the two of us. It's like, you know, are there other options? There are. But is there an option that offers the same thing? Not really. Not right now. And
yeah,
we love being here.
Another point to that is the clubs. Like, we absolutely loved all the clubs on campus. And then I've talked to a lot of other students from different colleges around the country, and they maybe have like 10, 15 clubs. And it's fairly limited. And here it's like, if you have a club, and you follow the paperwork and you do everything, you can have a club, right? And the school sanctions it. It's great. It's great. And there was so much of that. And I think when we started, there were something like 70 clubs, and now I think it's over 100 in the past, like a little over 2 years. So it's a huge amount of growth. Right. And that was something that really, really spoke to us, because we are very active in as many clubs as we can be.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware.
Right. That's funny.
So talking about clubs and different organizations, let's talk about AK, Applied Kinesiology, because you're both very well immersed in it. So why Applied Kinesiology for both of you?
Man, it's an entire thought process. It's not just a technique. It's the ability to analyze someone in real time. You're through the muscle test, you have a window into their nervous system. You can, I've said this before, we are fully trained in looking at blood work and X-ray and MRI and CT, all of these other things that we can look into the patient. But this gives us a direct window into their nervous system via the muscle test. What causes global inhibition? What is that stimulus that they are responding to? And it blends so many beautiful techniques, whether it's SOT, they borrow a little bit from SOT, and they borrow some from, traditional Chinese medicine, and as well as some things that are still taught in osteopathy school. There are these different, there's a different symphony of techniques that are brought together in applied kinesiology, and it so easily addresses the triad of the vertebral subluxation theory, the thoughts, traumas, and toxins, whether it's NET that's come out of applied kinesiology, or the actual musculoskeletal work that we do, or then with toxins, a lot of visceral manipulation and visceral work that we can do as well.
Are your parents applied kinesiology doctors?
Yeah, our dad has been in applied kinesiology for 35 years, I think. Yeah, so he's been in it quite a while.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. What about for you?
I think, there a lot of what Daniel just said, applied kinesiology does such a great job harmonizing with everything that we do and talk about in chiropractic. And I think a lot of straight adjusting is phenomenal. And there's so much more that we can do, right? Because we're 14% osseous and then 86% soft tissue. And applied kinesiology does a phenomenal job harmonizing with everything else that we learn to address those thoughts, traumas, and toxins. Sure, if there's a trauma and all you need is an osseous adjustment, that's perfect, right? If there's anything else, what else do you do? Right. And AK has countless approaches and techniques within its approach to healthcare. And I think it just does such a good job it's like whatever you want to do. If you want to have any different type of adjusting, if you want to do activator or TRT, traditional Gonstead, full spine, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. Like, you can bring that in and you can incorporate all these other components. You can do like muscle activation, neuroemotional technique to help process these different emotions. You can bring in different components of functional medicine, everything within it. And it all is, if you see it and can see it through the lens of applied kinesiology, it makes it much more attainable to work on someone. And a lot of people that you're working with, things that people are dealing with don't seem daunting when you have a tool like applied kinesiology. Right.
I love that. I definitely think it's so important of a conversation to be able to not just hyper focus on the snap, crackle, and pop, right? And to be able to see the person as a whole entity. And I think that's something very beautiful that chiropractic has and is. We're looking at all the systems and how they all connect to each other, not just the cardiovascular system versus the musculoskeletal versus is more of a coexistence of it. So I do love that about applied kinesiology. You both mentioned that you are also very involved in other clubs and organizations. Tell me a little bit of what those are and why specifically.
One that we were really involved with for the first 2 years was Functional Neurology Club.
Yeah.
And in this very similar way, where we hear this all the time at school, but we're doctors of the nervous system, right? And functional neurology, chiropractic neurology does a wonderful job at addressing the higher order function of the nervous system, right? So like upper motor neurons and everything associated with them are attainable. Again, it's attainable. And then instead of people having things like vertigo or POTS or all these different neurological symptoms or processes are addressed very systematically and understood well with functional neurology. What other clubs?
Yeah, so to answer on functional neurology, it's a beautiful thing to be able to analyze someone in real time and look at those neurological symptoms that they're dealing with and address them right then, to formulate a plan, to know what's going on. And I think that's the thing within functional neurology. So much of the time we spent in club was learning different tracks, learning different functions of the lobes and of the brain. And when you start to see different neurodegenerative processes early, you catch those, you're so much more preventative. Right. And that's what functional neurology allows us to do as a club and as a technique. It gives us those tools, again, to just see something early, spot it, and prevent it. And I think that is so much, it dovetails so nicely with chiropractic. It actually, fits, I think it springs from chiropractic in the sense that we are not about just pulling someone back from the brink of disaster. We want to prevent that in the first place. We want to be preventative healthcare and work in that way. So those are a couple of the reasons why we love that so much. But we're really enjoying that. We've really enjoyed that time.
I love that. So what is the plan? What quarter are you both in?
We're finishing up 9th.
Yeah, we just both finished 9th.
About to go double digits.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So one more year, that means. Right. Do we plan on working together? Do you have an idea? Or just kind of opening up to what the world is ready to offer?
I feel like it's still so up in the air. I'm planning on shadowing a couple offices coming up here soon. Yeah. Well, actually over this break. Yeah. And then we'll see how that goes. Yeah. At this point, I really don't know yet. Still working on it.
Okay. Yeah. What about for you?
So again, not because of, and I think this is worth prefacing. It's not because of too few options. There's so many options. There's so many places to go. So many things to do. It's a really varied. You can go so many varied ways with the experience that you can choose for peak, or we can choose for peak, or we can choose for the different techniques that we can specialize in. I have had a lot of fun working with some different major techniques, specifically applied kinesiology, functional neurology, and the wellness way as well. So really, focusing in on a couple of those right now, but going to take the next couple breaks and look at a few offices and narrow in that peak search, and then also go from there and see what we want to do as far as work. Eventually, it would be awesome to spend some time working with our dad as well, because that would be a great opportunity to enjoy that time with him, spend that time with him, and with both our parents, honestly. Yeah. It'd be great.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. I'm really proud of both of you and your growth. It's been amazing to watch, like I said. And I know that it's not the end of it. We're just starting to peek at it. But good luck. Good luck on the rest of your finals. If you have some coming around, good luck shadowing those offices and making those connections from a different perspective, rather than just being the son of. Now you are also the doctor to be, which is really cool. But good luck. Good luck. Have a beautiful rest of your break and an amazing quarter, and we'll see you in clinic.
Thanks, Dr. Garcia.
You're welcome. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Living Life, How Life You. Bye.